It's 11 p.m. You're reading about productivity while procrastinating. You notice the paradox and kept reading. You do this, not occasionally, regularly. And the standard explanation is that you lack discipline, focus, or some better version of yourself that hasn't arrived yet. But that explanation is wrong. Not because it's unfair, because it's too useful to the system that produced it. This episode is about a very specific feeling. The feeling of being perpetually just behind. Always one habit short of the version of yourself that finally has it together. That feeling has a mechanism. It has a philosophical name. And this is the strange part, it needs you to believe the fault is yours in order to keep running. This isn't motivation. This isn't advice. This is the mechanism. There's a very precise loop. You feel overwhelmed. You seek clarity, an article, a video, a framework. The clarity arrives. For a few hours, you feel organized. Then the overwhelm comes back, slightly heavier than before. So you seek more clarity. This loop doesn't fail. It works perfectly. Its product isn't productivity. It's the conviction that you need more productivity. In 1954, a German philosopher named Martin Heidegger described something he called Gestell, a word that doesn't translate cleanly, but means roughly this. The modern world has turned everything into a standing reserve of resources available for extraction. The tree exists to become lumber. The river exists to become energy. And you exist to be optimized. That's not a critique, it's a description. And what Heidegger didn't anticipate is that by the 21st century, the most valuable resource would be attention, and that we would learn to extract our own. Think about your routine. Wake up, check your phone. Work, reply to messages, fight distractions. Get home, more screens. You operate like a machine tallying outputs, but you never actually stop. You're thinking, but I need to be productive. I need to keep up. Of course, the environment demands it. But the cost is this constant sense of being behind, even when you're giving everything you have. Therefore, that exhaustion isn't weakness. It's a calibrated response to being treated as a resource. Heidegger's Gestell explains exactly this. Your mind isn't a garden to be tended. It's a processor to be optimized. Your body isn't an organism with limits. It's a tool for generating output. Therefore, when you feel like a glitch, that's just your biology refusing to run in machine mode. But the loop doesn't pause when you close the productivity tab. It follows you into the rest of the day, into the moments that are supposed to be yours. Think about the last time you opened your phone to relax. You probably didn't open it to be productive. You opened it because you were tired and you wanted to decompress. 20 minutes later, you were deep in a thread about a topic you don't care about, in a conversation you weren't part of, involving people you'll never meet. You close the app feeling vaguely worse, not terrible, just slightly more behind than before you started. That's not a failure of willpower. That's the system working exactly as designed. The environment doesn't need you to be productive every second. It just needs you to never feel quite finished. The digital environment created a cycle with one specific feature. The better you conform to the templates of optimization, the sharper the inadequacy feels when you fall short. But that inadequacy isn't accidental. The first question isn't, how do I fix myself? It's, what does this feeling of being broken actually serve? The answer is uncomfortable. It keeps the loop running. A consumer who feels like enough stops buying. A user who feels present stops scrolling. A professional who feels fulfilled starts questioning the pace. Chronic inadequacy isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. The productivity industry understood this before most people did. That's why the language shifted from be productive to optimize yourself. Optimization has no finish line. Productivity does. You can finish a task. You can never finish optimizing. And this is where the mechanism becomes almost elegant in its design. The people most committed to self-improvement are the most reliable fuel for it. Not the ones who gave up, the ones who kept trying. You're not failing at self-improvement. You're succeeding at it. That's the problem. But what if I actually am the problem? What if I could do better? That question is exactly what the loop needs you to ask. Not because it's wrong, but because it keeps you inside it. It redirects your attention toward your individual failures instead of toward the environment producing them. Relentless self-criticism isn't honesty. It's the mechanism feeding on you. Think about the goals you set, the endless lists, the guilt when you don't meet them. That's not your own demanding nature. It's the engineering of the environment reproduced internally. You've internalized a manager who never sleeps and is never satisfied. And you call it healthy self-criticism. The interesting part isn't that you do this. The interesting part is how it feels when you do it. It doesn't feel like external pressure. It feels like personal standards. It feels like ambition. It feels like the voice of someone who cares about doing things well. That's what makes it effective. An external critic you can argue with. An internal one that sounds exactly like you can't. Heidegger's point wasn't that technology is bad. It was that when everything becomes a resource, the logic of extraction gets inside. You don't just live in a system that treats you like a machine. You start treating yourself like one. And calling it discipline. The pressure to always be on, always updated, always available. It isn't natural. It's a recent demand, historically unprecedented, presented as the basic condition of functioning as an adult. What you call slowness or distraction might be the only moment your nervous system resists extraction. There's a version of this that's easier to see in someone else. You've watched a person you know run themselves into the ground, burning through sleep, through relationships, through their own patience. And from the outside, it looks obvious. They need to stop. But from the inside, it doesn't feel like running. It feels like almost keeping up. That's the precise sensation the system requires. Not exhaustion, not collapse, just enough forward momentum to keep you from stopping. The distance between you and enough stays constant. You move, it moves. You accelerate, it accelerates. This is what makes the optimization loop different from ordinary ambition. Ambition has a target. This doesn't. The target is the moving. And at some point, the only question left isn't how to move faster. It's whether the destination was ever real. The point isn't that this relentless drive for optimization is bad for you. The point is that it's too efficient at keeping you exactly where you are, exhausted, mildly guilty, and convinced that the fault is personal. You're not a glitch waiting for a patch. You're an organism responding coherently to an incoherent environment. That distinction matters. You're doing this right now. Watching this video, seeking clarity about why you can't get enough clarity. The loop is active at this moment. And recognizing it doesn't switch it off, but it changes what you blame when it shows up. You are, not a machine, a coherent response to an environment that treats you like one. Your exhaustion isn't a failure. It's the most honest signal your system produces. The clarity of the loop doesn't free you. It just convinces you the next round will. The loop doesn't stay in the productivity tab. It moves into your head and starts running rehearsals. It's 11 p.m. The article is still open. The difference is small, almost invisible. You still feel like you should be doing more, but now you know where that feeling comes from. And knowing where it comes from doesn't fix anything. It just changes who you blame.